The scene of the Goodwin High School cafeteria, known as the Commons, is being described grim by investigators who are working to identify the victims of a shooting spree that erupted Friday morning. The shooting, which began just as students were preparing for their first class, left at least 6 students dead and countless others wounded. Valerie Leftman, a 16-year-old, was the last victim shot before Nick Lovell, the lead shooter, reportedly turned the gun on himself. Early reports indicate that Leftman and Lovell had discussed suicide in some detail, and some sources close to the couple suggest that they talked about homicide as well, leaving the police wondering if there is more to the Goodwin High shooting than originally thought. We as humans pour our hearts and souls into relationships, whether it is a boyfriend, a girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your children. Just think of your life without them. Without them, you're not yourself. Without them, it's like the whole world around you is gone. Valerie Leftman, a 16-year-old high school student, watches as her one true love dies right before her, and it's all because of The Hate List by Jennifer Brown. After the third snooze alarm, my mom started pounding on my door, trying to get me out of bed. Just like any other morning. Only this morning wasn't like any other. This was the morning I was supposed to pick myself up and get on with my life. My mom pleaded, Valerie, you have to get out of bed. The school's being very lenient letting you back into school. You shouldn't blow it on your first day back. Like I would be happy about going back to school, about stepping back into those haunted halls, into the world as I knew it had crashed and ended last May. Like I had been having nightmares and waking up sweaty, crying, and then being totally relieved to be in my room because I knew I was safe. Safe. The school couldn't decide if I was a hero or a villain. And I guess I couldn't really blame them. Sometimes I can't even decide myself. Am I the villain who set into motion the plan to mow down half of my school, or the girl who sacrificed herself to end the shooting? Some days I feel like both, but some days I feel like neither. Shoo. 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 Over there she is. And then Nick said, let's go get this finished. I was so happy because Nick was finally going to stick up for me. And then he went up to her and said, you've been on the list for a long time. No. And then there was this noise that wasn't so much as it was in my ears as it was in my brain. It sounded like the whole world around me was shutting down, and I screamed. And then Nick said that he got her. And he kept repeating it. I got her, I got her, I got her, I got her. And then there was this laugh, this high-pitched laugh that I was more surprised than anything. Oh my God, please, somebody help! And I think that was me screaming, but I couldn't be sure. Shoo. 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 Christy Butler, 16, was the captain of the Goodwin High softball team. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I thought I was doing good until I got to this part. Sorry. Okay. Christy Butler, 16. Butler, captain of the Goodwin High softball team, was the first victim to be appeared as a direct target. He bumped her in the shoulder, says Amy Butler, the victim's mother. And some of the girls who were with her told her that Christy turned around and he said, you've been on the list for a long time. And she said, what list? And then he shot her. Butler, who was shot in the stomach, is being described very lucky to be alive by doctors. Investigations confirmed that indeed Butler's name was the first of hundreds on this now infamous hate list. A red spiral notebook confiscated from Nick Lovell's home just hours before the shooting. Just hours before the shooting. My mom kept asking if I was nervous. There were so many emotions running through me, I thought I might go screaming down the street. I could have driven this in my sleep right on Oak, then left on Flounding, then right into the parking lot, Gavin High, straight ahead. You can't miss it. Never would the school have this intimidating look as it did when I was a freshman. Never would I think of high school as exciting and mind-bending romances and laughter. That is just something else that Nick had stolen from me, from all of us that day. He didn't just steal our innocence and our well-being. He somehow robbed us from all of our memories. He somehow robbed us from all of our memories. Shh. 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 Gosh dang it, I'm so sorry, Mr. Turpin. Okay, sorry. He didn't just steal our innocence and our well-being. He somehow robbed us from our memories. Shh. Shh. And Christy Butler hit the floor in front of me, and the room erupted into screaming, chaotic emergency at this bizarre moment where I had felt I was sure that I was imagining all of it. But then Nick rushed off, and Willa fell to the floor on her knees right next to Christy, and then rolled Christy over, and there was all this blood. A crowd of kids surged in our direction, and I jumped up because I was afraid that I would be crushed under them. And then Willa screamed, "Don't leave us! She's going to die! You can't go! I need you! Help!" But the crowd was surging me right along with them, and before I knew it, I was slipping across Christy's blood and into this knot of kids that were trying to shove their way out of the commons. And then I saw 2 bodies underneath a table, and they were not moving. Beyond that, I saw Nick, and he was overturning chairs and bumping tables over, and occasionally he would crouch down and look underneath the table, and then he would drag someone out, and he would talk to them, waving a gun in their face. Then there would be more cracking, and there would be more sounds, and then screaming, and my brain was moving slowly, but it was still picking up speed. And it didn't make sense to me, but... oh no. But then again, it did, because somehow, in some way, we had talked about this. We had talked about this. Shh. Shh. No, Nick. I looked at the carpet of my counselor, Miss Tate's office, once again struck with the feeling that I had never knew Nick at all. That all that soulmate stuff that we had talked about was just a bunch of bullshit. I felt a lump in my throat. How indulgent that was. The school's outcast cries over her boyfriend, the murderer. Then Miss Tate leaned back in her chair and she kept talking. She said, "Valerie, you had a future. You were choosing colleges. You were making good grades. Nick never had a future." I couldn't help but cry. You can't predict the future. How did she know about Nick's future? If I would have known what would happen, I would have stopped it. I would have stopped all of this, but I couldn't, and I should have. And that's what gets me. I should have. Now, everyone sees me as the girl who hates everyone. At least that's what the newspapers call me. The girl who hates everyone. Shh. Shh. No, Nick. Shh. Gosh dang it! Sorry. I started running as I moved along, shoving and running. My throat was making hoarse sounds. No. And I kept repeating that, and I was saying as I bumped kids out of my way, no, wait! And then 3 more shots rang out, ripping my attention away from the dead boy on the floor. Nick, no! Okay, so now at this point, hi Turpin, I'm talking to you now. But at this point, I would go on, and I still haven't decided if I want to still have the fight with the dad or just go straight into, like, I just don't know what to do from here. That's why I'm not performing the rest of it. But that's what I have so far. Sorry for all the pauses and stuff. It's just super duper hard to memorize. But yeah, that's what I have so far. I hope you like it. Okay.